Well, Richard Ramirez was, he's called the Night Stalker. He was a frightening series of crimes. 13 people were killed. He was a Satanist. He would draw pentagrams on their bodies and use their blood to write messages on the walls.
Misty fell in love with a serial killer who terrified America. We meet up in Seattle. She asked to meet her in front of a coffee shop. She's there with her sister.
I'm apprehensive about this first meeting. This man is a killer and he scares me. He brings up in me a kind of disgust. But I'm not here to judge him, and maybe there will be some part of him that I was unable to see and that this woman will reveal to me.
Misty was reluctant to be interviewed at first, as if she was uncertain about sharing her love story.
How did you meet
Richard Ramirez?
Yes.
How did I meet him?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just got really curious and I started wondering about him. So I watched a movie, I watched documentaries on TV, and then I wrote him. Didn't think he'd write me back, and he did. So I was very excited when I got his first letter. And I started communicating, and I asked him if I could meet him. I was obsessed with him.
Oh.
I'm completely obsessed.
How do you explain that?
I don't know. I was really curious first, and then became quickly obsessed with, I don't know, I was really obsessed with him. I really wanted to know him. I wanted to know everything about him. I wanted to know, if he really did what he did. I wanted to look into his eyes and really see for myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet him in person. It sounds really sick, right? Then I started falling in love with him.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with the Night Stalker. And I know he killed a lot of people, but I didn't really care about that. I just fell in love with him. And our letters were very flirty and sensual and sexual in nature.
Richard and Misty first write to each other about their feelings, but their letters quickly become much more intimate.
Hi, Misty. Thank you for the nice card and letters. Warmest regards to you and Chloe and Caitlin. So both of you girls are going to Utah. I thought it was only Chloe that went. I do remember the group Berlin from the 80s. They had a few good songs. Do you ever read autobiographies on music, bands? Do you shave your pussy? I like soft, tender, clean-shaven pussy.
How many letters did you write?
Probably over, I don't know, 600-700.
700?
Maybe 1,000, I don't know.
At the time, Ramirez was certainly a guy attracting a lot of attention. Since his arrival at the San Francisco jail, women from around the country, including one of the female jurors who had found him guilty in Los Angeles, had been flocking to the San Francisco facility, even fighting with each other over Richard's affections.
So he's I guess he's a rock star of serial killers or something. Women fight over him. I have no idea why. When a woman gets involved in a relationship with a serial killer, most often it's because he's famous. It's much easier to get a date with Richard Ramirez than with Brad Pitt, or George Clooney.
And did you live? Did you date him? How do you call
Did
this?
I date him? No.
I mean, it's kind of a date.
We corresponded through the mail.
Yeah.
And so we had a sexual fantasy type relationship. His fantasies were really perverse. He wanted to tie me up and gag me and blindfold me and F me in every which way possible if he can get a hold of me. And then, I met him. Oh, my God. I was scared. I was really freaked out. I was he's so tall. He's he towers over me. Like, so if you take one of my hands and put one of my hands with his hand, he's huge. It's like huge. When he was younger, he was hot. Come on, he was hot. You're ugly. He had like nice hair, nice lips, nice eyes, like really good facial structures. You know, he was hot. Well, he's like a shark. When you look at him now, that when you looked at him then, pictures of him then, he'd be looking like a decent person. But when you look at him in the eyes, it's like a shark. Right before it bites you, before the eyes roll over white, it's a very intense feeling of you're stuck and you can't move.
After many months of correspondence, Misty finally meets Richard Ramirez. Ramirez is a prisoner at the San Quentin State Penitentiary, the oldest prison in California. They are together at last.
It was an interesting visit, I'm sure. We talked, and he's like, he starts, I remember leaning back in his chair, and he starts unbuttoning his shirt. And the next thing I know, he's like, he just, wow. I whipped out his penis in front of me.
So it means that you loved him until you saw him, right? Because when you saw him, you...
It's like someone took my big bubble and went, pop, and it came back down to reality.
You just
Yeah, I realized, I was like, this is... Like, I felt like I was in a trance.
Yeah.
Even when I was on the visit, I felt like, and he was sitting across from me, I felt like I was in a trance. Like, he had me, like, we were staring at each other, and I couldn't move. I felt frozen, solid.
You felt that maybe he kind of possessed you or something?
Yeah, I felt like I was kind of possessed a little bit.
Okay.
When I was on my visit. Like, I couldn't move. I was physically unable to just... I felt like he was just holding me, like, down.
Okay.
And it's intense. It's the most intense feeling to actually meet a killer face to face and be in love with one too. It's really intense. It's intense. It's intense.
After her first visit, Misty never wanted to see Ramirez again. Ramirez has had a reprieve from the death sentence. Executions in California are currently on hold. And yet, there are many here that will never forget the terror of when the Night Stalker roamed their streets.
Is he sorry? Hell no, he's not. If he's out, I guarantee he'd kill again and again and again. He'd probably even kill me. You know, that's what scares me. If he ever got out of prison, he'd probably come for me and kill me.